Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Seraphim Serenades. My name is Troy J. Bacon, and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, hypnotherapist, known as an ethereal engineer. And I ch here I channel my Seraphim guide Kazaya, who speaks about various topics, particularly changing and evolving topics of the earth, of humanity, of human evolution, of ways of spiritual healing. We do private sessions and readings in which I channel him, and then he can grant angelic Reiki and readings, and that's a lot of fun. And so today we're going to have a fun, exciting channeling focused on the planet Mars. This is part of his planetary evolution series. This is now the fifth of his planetary evolution series, in which we're talking about the planets of the solar system and how they affect Earth during this current change period, during 2024 and beyond, in the last few years now, 2 or 3 years now of this change period we're coming out of. And so he'll be talking about Mars and similar issues, as well as the law of action and the law of cause and effect as they especially relate to Mars, perhaps other universal laws. So, without further ado, I'll bring in Kazaya and he will be speaking. So, you're in for a treat, and let's get this channeling about Mars and similar messages in. Oh, greetings, everyone. What an honor it is to have this opportunity to speak to the light workers, the shadow workers, old souls, and people of Earth once again. My name is Kazaya, and I am a seraphim entity, as you would call me. I prefer to refer to myself as we and plural, as I see myself as more of a group entity than an individuated entity as humans see themselves. I have chosen to speak through Troy in this way at this time during this change period and beyond to help maintain a bit more lightness, maintain the lighter possibilities, potentials of Earth's outcomes as you progress through the end of this change time that is proving to be a bit harrowing. So, in today's teaching, I'll be talking about the planet Mars in your solar system. It's known as the red planet, and this is quite appropriate. Of course, it's a red color. You see it as red light in the sky sometimes an orange light, really. And the planet Mars, the name Mars, of course, comes from your Greek and Roman Latin language. And Mars was known as a god of war, which unfortunately the planet has seen a bit of its own wars and been caught in between in the throes of wars. However, there's a lot more to Mars than meets the eye and what legends and stories will tell you. Yes, astrologically, in your astrological traditions, Mars is known as the planet of war, also the planet of action, the planet of masculinity, of directness. And Some of this is true, but Mars is much more than that as a planetary sphere and an energetic resonance within it, as well as its history. Mars is not just war, does not just contain the energies of war. Currently, it is a planet that still affects human action, human business, human directness, human creation. And yes, it does affect people. All the planetary spheres have their magnetic, energetic effects on humans. Mars was once a fairly fertile planet. Maybe not quite as lush as Earth is today in most regions. But yes, Mars had its heyday of being host to much flora and fauna. Perhaps you could describe it as some areas as being a grassland, some a bit more forested, some still boast some vegetation. Mars was once a very habitable planet, and it had its high technology and advanced and also primitive civilizations and societies on it, similar to how Earth has seen the rise and fall of many of its own. And you see evidence of this largely from what you call the Cydonia area, where you see a very large stone face on the surface looking back at you. You look at it from above. And yes, this was created by intelligent beings who in many ways looked very similar to humans, just as you recognize it as a human-looking face. This was a face representing those who dwelled in the temples. This was made to represent some of the priests of the society that lived in that area. And yes, it also once had significant vegetation and flora and fauna and food and could be cultivated and lived upon in the Cydonia area. Cydonia area also is a region of, especially used to be a region of very high, so you call it vibrational energy, an area where the energies between the planet, the people, and what you may term the spirit world or divine realm were thin. That's why there were temples there, pyramids. The sacred energies of life were cultivated there, were revered and taught about. Particularly in that area, it was a temple area, not necessarily one for the lay people. However, just as the planet, it also saw its rise and fall and epochs of use, unfortunately, some misuse too by other beings. Now it is as it stands, as you photographed it, as a possible everlasting testament to the highly spiritually advanced society that was once there. You may term Cydonia as similar to the area of Giza in Egypt. It was once a sacred, very sacred area. Now, the planet Mars, of course, used to be much more vegetated and populated. It had its peoples. Many were actually very similar to humans, although back when they were roaming the surface, their genetics were slightly different, may not have been identical to modern Homo sapiens sapiens, but they were people, and they were often proud people, strong and determined, and also lovely people in their own ways. What happened to Mars is that its atmosphere was damaged, ruffled, desecrated, especially when asteroids blasted it all at once. And you see this primarily on one half of it, where there are more craters and scars on the surface. And yes, this planet actually used to be even a little bit further out in the solar system from the sun. And the asteroids blasted it from the planet that was further out beyond Mars that was much larger than it. However, was unfortunately destroyed due to very destructive war. And the way that planet Mars affects humans on Earth at this time is that it affects humans on energy and psyche levels by reevaluating your actions, by sometimes stirring up the shadows in your subconscious, your underworld that relate to your conscious and unconscious desires and actions. And this is what also relates to and plays a big part in the law of action. We'll also talk about the law of cause and effect that is related. These two primary laws, actually very fundamental laws, are essential to understand so that you understand how your actions, how your behaviors are affecting and structuring your personal reality. The law of action states that the ways you behave, your actions, your physical actions, the things you strive for, the things you make an effort on, and the ways you do too, is a manifestation and expression of your energy. And your energy, of course, is an extension of God's energy. And so your action and your behavior postures this postures the outcome of how things happen, of the effect too of how things turn out, especially with projects, with societies, with your life. with what you create, business projects to business prospects, communities, your efforts to try harder, to do better, to act with integrity, your efforts that behave with less integrity also affect your outcome, affect perhaps the cleanliness, the structure, the creation of things, affect how they come across to other people, your legacy, your reputation. They also affect, of course, your inner layers, your psyche, your subconscious, that which also stays with you. Your actions, whether someone's watching or not, are important in this way because they affect you and they are energy that does not necessarily just go away when you walk away. So this is how planet Mars affects this. It may also stir this up in you so that you can be aware of it. It will stir this up so that you can think about also how you're acting in relation to other aspects in you, how you're acting in relation to other planetary alignments in what you call your astrological charts. If you're acting in harmony, if you're acting in disharmony, if you're acting in alignment with your soul's purpose, in alignment with your calling or not, in alignment with what you truly want for yourself in your heart. And these are very basic fundamentals to understand, really, that your actions, your behaviors, large and small, do affect the direct outcomes, what becomes outside of you, based on the energy that you're posturing and behaving and expressing from within you. And it's somewhat symbolic at this time that now there are primarily individuated, corporate, you could call it, efforts to travel to the planet Mars, try to colonize it, try to settle it. Honestly, this has been done. It's not just currently a dead, uninhabited planet. There's actually a lot of life there right now. Earth human and largely though non-Earth human peoples. So this is another area in which a seraphim and angelic beings would advise to be very discerning, very cautious, very intentional about your actions, your behaviors, especially toward this planet of action, behavior, reaction that affects your outcomes, how you're actually approaching it. We also teach and have taught Troy that the intention, we've said this before in previous messages, that the very intention that you place into an action, that you place into your food and into your drink, the intention of the outcome that you envision, that you place into practically everything you do does affect how it happens, how the outcome is, how you do it, your effectiveness and concentration too can be affected. The healing benefits, the transformation, if you will, These are honestly very basic fundamentals to understand and master on the spiritual path, especially one of self-refinement, of transformation, of alchemizing, of evolution, of graduation to higher levels. We see that that is enough information about the planet Mars, about the law of action and the law of cause and effect for this time. And at this time, we are not joined by another live human individual to ask questions. There will be, we see that. And all are welcome to ask their questions. All are welcome to ask your questions in what you call the comments. They will be responded to, as well as join live when you're able to. All questions will also be answered in the next session, the next teaching, if you're unable to join live. My name is Kazaya, and I'm of service, of teaching service from the heavenly, cosmic, and divine realms. And yes, from where I am, we do care deeply about Earth and its outcomes, and we care just as equally about respecting your free wills. That is one of the greatest gifts that's been bestowed upon humans from God. It's free will to choose in each moment what you're doing, to choose in each moment where you are, choose where you put yourself, and to choose where you are on the light and dark spectrum within yourself and in the world. We do, though, hope that more than not will choose to join us and to return to us, to illuminate yourselves once again in the lighter bands of the light spectrum, the light emanation. It has been an honor to inform and to speak with you in this way, and we so look forward to speaking with humanity again. All is well. That was interesting because I was always lovely to channel lovely messages, interesting messages, some specific messages there, always specific messages with him. So, again, my name is Troy J. Bacon. I'm a Reiki master teacher. If you're interested in a transformational Reiki healing session, that's from the Mikao Usui tradition and lineage, as well as I offer angelic Reiki sessions, in which that's more of a collaborative effort with myself and the angels working with you. Um, Sometimes that can be even more profound in its healings than Mikao Usui Reiki. Both are very powerful, though, and effective. You can find me at newbeinghypnosis.com. I also offer hypnotherapy, of course, in my spiritual alchemy courses for PTSD recovery, for personal self-improvement, for recovering the light of your soul, past life regression, becoming more of who you truly are with clarity in this world. I also offer tinnitus therapy treatment through hypnosis. That's its own technical specialty. Again, my website is linked in the description box down below, newbeinghypnosis.com. You can find me on social media, on Instagram and Facebook as Troy J. Bacon, and at the page New Being Hypnosis, YouTube New Being Hypnosis. It has been such a pleasure to be able to channel Kazaya, and again, my honor to be able to be doing this work and to convey this to you and bring this to the world. We will be growing and doing many more, planning in-person events and branching out very soon. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for participating. Much light to you and peace to you.